How's it going, everybody? And guess what? Today is kind of a special day for Veronica and I. We are headed to Nashville, and it's going to be pretty much one of our longest trips since we've had the boat. And if you want to go to my channel, look down in the playlist, you'll see all of the boating trips on there, and you'll see where we bought the boat at and how far we drove it. Now, this time's a little bit further for us. We are located on Kentucky Lake, and we're going to be heading north, going to be going through the canal and jumping on Barkley in there. We're going to be heading all the way up to Cumberland to go to Nashville. So it should be close to 180 miles one way. So guys, it's going to be over a 340 mile trip, something like that. You guys can do my math for me.
I don't know.
Anyhow, what was it, 360 miles? That's what it is. So
that's a long
round trip.
Time.
Yep.
Yes.
So we've got everything topped off, fuel topped off. We're carrying some extra gas cans and a couple extra jugs of fresh water. But we are going to have to be getting some gasoline at one of the marinas, and probably going to be getting some gas here at Clarksville. There's a gas station just right up from the city dock there. And we've got our little buggy, and we might just get a few gallons there as well. So,
and we have lots and lots of food.
That's right, lots of food, lots of water, and we should be good to go. So guess what, guys? Welcome along and check out this video. See you.
Let's go.
All right, so I went ahead and put out a course here, and we're going to be going up Kentucky Lake. We're heading north, and we're going to be cutting across the canal, which is right here in between Barkley Lake and Kentucky Lake. A lot of the great loopers, they'll come in off the Cumberland, come into Barkley, then they'll cut across this canal, and then they'll head south on the Tennessee River, which is Kentucky Lake. But we got a ways to go. Going to stop here at Clarksville and keep on going and get to Nashville, turn around. So got a ways to go yet. Alright, so I'm running on one engine only. We're running about 1400 RPM, and we're sitting right at 6.1 miles an hour. Now we are getting about a 10 mile an hour wind, kind of hitting us on our starboard stern, and we probably got, I don't know, a foot and a half, 2 footers out here on the lake now. But anyhow, you can see all my gas cans up there. Got some extra water. Veronica doesn't like that. I know it looks a little ugly, but hey, it's a lot cheaper than buying marina fuel. And running on one engine, I've kind of noticed and kind of did some calculations. Anything over 6 miles an hour, it kind of defeats the purpose. You're better off just go ahead and run 2. But 6 miles an hour is pretty much the cutoff to where you can poke along on one and conserve quite a bit of fuel. So we're going to give this a try and see what happens. Alright, so the wind's picked up a little bit more, and we're getting close to 15 to 20 mile an hour winds. And National Weather Service said a gust up to 30. So, anyhow, at least it's pushing on our stern and not have to go through on the bow. It makes it a little bit more enjoyable, and get a few whitecaps out there. Alright, so what I also did was I put in a couple switches for a battery isolator. And what that does is, since I'm running on one engine, I put a battery isolator on each engine. And what that does is it allows that engine that I have running to charge up my house battery. That way I can run my inverter, use all my outlets, run my refrigerator, and all I have to do is turn it off if I want to disengage it, just like that. And now it's just the house battery only. But since we're cruising, we got plenty of alternator power. We might as well keep the house battery fully charged. So that's all I have to do. And then if I'm running the starboard engine, I can turn that one off and turn this one on. And that way we can keep our house battery at 100%. That way when we get anchored, the house battery is at 100%. And I'm going to do this. I do have a couple solar panels that I've got I'm going to be putting in as well. But on this trip, I'll take you down the engine room. I'll show you them battery isolators that I've got hooked up. All right, guys. So we've been cruising on for about a little over 2.5 hours. And we've gone 15.4 miles. And we're getting ready to cut through the canal. And going to get on across and go over to Barkley and go ahead and anchor out. It is time change happened this weekend, so the days are getting shorter. So sunset's at 5 o'clock. Actually, I think it's like 4:54. So we're gonna cruise on over here and get anchored up for the night and call this day good. All right, so we've made it to the canal. We're gonna shoot on through here, swing it around. The sun has finally popped out of the clouds for the day. So that's going to be our little passage, and we're going to head on through there, and we're going to anchor just on the other side of this for the night. During the summer months, this little canal, it gets really busy. There's a lot of boating traffic that goes from Lake Barkley over to Kentucky Lake, and sometimes it's just a little too congested, but it's a nice little cut through, that's for sure. Once we cut over here to Lake Barkley, I tell you what, it is really just wind just lays down, and there's basically just ripples out there. There's a big difference on these lakes depending upon which way the wind is blowing and how long the lake actually runs in the direction of the wind. It makes a huge difference. All right, so we got anchored up here for the evening. We got a nice little cove here on Barkley Lake. We've got it all to ourselves. So anyhow, tomorrow we're going to get things rolling early in the morning, guys. And we had a little late start in the day, in which I knew we was. And I was hoping to get 20 miles, and we got around 17. And it's just now getting ready to, sun's going to be setting. But all in all, good place to hang out for the evening. So we'll see you guys in the morning. Yeah, good morning, everybody. And we are on day 2 of our Nashville trip. And let me tell you what, guys, we did not sleep good last night. We had between 15 and 20 knot winds all night long last night. We was actually tucked up in a little cove to kind of give some shelter, a little break from the wind. But let me tell you, it was pretty rough, and it was weird because I guess it's a front that's coming through. And I've been looking at the weather, but didn't anticipate that much wind in the overnight hours. But anyhow, it is still blowing pretty good out there. Still about 12 or 13 this morning, and we're going to be heading south. And we're going to be cutting along Barkley here on the north end. And then we're going to be going east and then directly south right into the wind. So we're not for sure how far we're going to go today, but if things get a little choppy out there, we got a couple places we can kind of tuck in. So we'll see. So let's go. If you're up this way on the north end of Barkley Lake, there's a cool little marina. It's called QB's. They got a nice marina there, and it's a little town called Catawba, Kentucky. And they've got a nice restaurant there as well. Got a little ship store in there, but pretty nice little place, and it's really protected from all the elements as well. So just a cool place to visit and have a nice bite to eat. And this is just north of the Kentucky State Prison, and we'll show you that here in just a second. So anyhow, it's going to be the Kentucky State Penitentiary. And so anyhow, we're pretty much getting ready to head due south. We are heading due south right now, and it is getting choppy out there at the old Marinettes. Getting her done. Getting some water spray coming up on the windshield. Well, it's so choppy out here. Every once in a while we hear the ship's bell ringing. Alright guys, so what time is it? It is about 10 o'clock in the morning, and we have decided that we're not going to fight this chop all day long. We're going to try to hit Barkley State Resort. It is a marina. It's got a really nice restaurant there, and so we've gone a little over 14 miles this morning, and we got another 10 miles or so to go to get to Barkley, and hopefully we make it there in about 2.5 hours, and working through this chop. And we're seeing we're getting actually some about 4s out here, believe it or not. So we're hitting this wind head on, and might be able to hear once in a while the ship bell is ringing, and I'm not doing it. So anyhow, we're gonna get there and get tied up. We got some storms coming in this evening, and since we didn't sleep real well last night, we're gonna go ahead and go for a little bit safer place. And one thing we didn't have to worry about last night, I did set an anchor alarm. If you don't have that, you can get that on an app, and it will help you sleep a little bit better when you have some really strong winds coming. So something to keep in mind. So anyhow, just hold tight. We're going to be getting there at Barkley here in a little bit, and we'll bring you on that. So catch you here in a few.
South winds 15 to 20 miles an hour with gusts up to 35 miles an hour. Chance of rain near 100%. Tonight, isolated thunderstorms. Showers until midnight, then scattered showers after midnight. Locally heavy rain.
Good morning, everybody, and we are day 3 on our trip. And guys, let me tell you what, yesterday was yesterday was just an uncomfortable day on the water. 20-mile-an-hour winds, and just getting beat up out there. And we got into Barkley Lake marina, and they was actually closed, but we went ahead and docked there at the marina, tied up. We had some more storms coming in last night, and anyhow, we was able to find somebody down there and pay us for a slip, and got an overnighter there, which is kind of nice. Got some electric, and it rained pretty much all night long, and guess what? As you can see, it's raining again. So weather conditions from day 1 have not been very well, but we're making the best of it. And just so everybody knows, yesterday we traveled 18.3 miles the first day, and then yesterday, pushing against that 20-mile-an-hour winds, we got 28.4 miles yesterday, and I put in 19 gallons of gas. And what does that average out to? That's like 2.63. I don't have my paperwork in front of me, but it's like 2.63 miles per gallon. And that's running mainly one engine at 6 miles an hour. And yesterday, about an hour in before we got to Lake Barkley, I went ahead and fired up the second engine, just because, man, we was getting gusts probably 25 up to 30 miles an hour yesterday. So we kept them right at the 1400 RPM, and that's what I'm running this morning. But today we're heading to Clarksville, and we're going to try to make it to a 68-mile run. We're going to run about 7 to 7.5 miles an hour, and we should get there in 10 hours, and we'll get anchored up there. Not anchored up, but we're going to tie up. They got a little city dock there. We're going to tie up there, and going to get some more gas there at a gas station, and then hang tight, and then we're going to head on to another trip. So day 3, let's go. So we're in a really narrow part of the Cumberland, and there is not much room down here. But anyhow, if you guys are traveling, make sure you get a hold of these barge captains. Ask them permission to pass on their 1 or their 2. And if you don't know what that is, 1's going to be your port, 2's going to be your starboard. But you can always ask, say, if you don't know, you want me to pass you on your port or your starboard? They'll let you know. Then that way they can maneuver, and they're already pre-planning for the next turn, because this is a very windy river, and they'll give you permission to pass on 1 or 2. Remember, they've got priority on the rivers, so just get a hold of them. Alright, so we've got 20.4 miles in already today, and we've been traveling 2 hours and 56 minutes. So we are doing really well. So on we go. Also, when you're cruising these rivers, to kind of help, especially if you got some current, right now it's not too bad because it is November. Actually, today's election day, and God bless America today. That's for sure what just happened over the night. But anyhow, during fall, especially on these Kentucky and Barkley Lakes on the Cumberland and Tennessee, a lot of times they've already dropped the water down to winter pool. But if you've got some local heavy rainfall or something, you may have a little bit more current. But the important thing is just to kind of hug the inside of these curves, because if the river is flowing this way, the most of the current is going to be to the outside edge. So kind of hug these curves on the inside as you go through these, and it won't slow you down as bad. And then too, just remember red right return on your buoys, and that's something that's very important to remember. So if you're going upriver, red right return on your red buoys, which here's one coming up. Can't see it really, but it's right there. Keep it on your right. So something to remember, and it'll help you out. All right, everybody, so we've got 40 miles in, and we're at 5 hours and 49 minutes to complete that. And we've got about 30 more miles to go to before we get to Clarksville. So far, it's been a pretty good day. My starboard engine isn't running hot, but I did notice a little bit of steam coming out the exhaust. So I went back and checked the water flow coming out the exhaust, and it's about half of what the other one is. So been down in the engine room checking things over, and I think it's probably the impeller. I went ahead and took off the hoses that feed the exhaust manifold and risers, and I've got some flow to them, but I don't think it's enough. I went ahead and took a laser temp on both them exhaust manifolds. They're running about 148 to 154, something like that. They are running about 30 degrees warmer than my port engine. So I went ahead and just cut back on the RPMs and just watching my temperature gauge really close. And since my alarm system for my engines are working properly, if for some reason it does jump up there over 140 degrees or so on the engine, or the sensors on the exhaust manifold risers, I'll get an alarm. I know that I'll go ahead and shut that engine down. But anyhow, I'm going to check the impeller once I get to Clarksville and see what's going on. There's a ferry located at mile marker, it's going to be real close to 103 on the Cumberland. He's been across twice since I've seen him, so something to look out for. There's a little town located right up there too, so in case you need some groceries, looks like maybe a grocery store right there, so may need that. Now I see why that ferry's there. There's a steam plant back there. That's pretty nice after a day of rain. A nice little rainbow. So nice to see the sun today. It's been a long rainy day. Hello, Mr. Crane. I'm Crane Man, sitting on low. It's kind of cool. You got two eagles and a crane sitting together. That's kind of funny. Well, we've reached our 50 miles for the day, and we've got 18 more miles to go before we get to Clarksville. And right now, our timing is going to be just about perfect, especially since the daylight time has been shortened with the daylight savings change. We're going to get there before sunset and have time to tie up and take care of business before it even gets started. anytime we're cruising and Veronica's getting ready to walk up to the bow, she always lets me know, and then I'll go ahead and throw them in neutral just to be on the safe side. So that way she can get up there so I can see her a little bit better. I'll get it. And right up here on the left, you'll see some debris floating in the water. That's like a drainage ditch. It's coming off of the city drainage there. There's all kinds of logs and trash in it. Right when I get up here, you're gonna hear my windows vibrate. And I've got something wrapped around my prop shaft or in my prop.
The big one.
Listen closely, you'll hear it. Veronica, she's unaware of what's going on, but man, you sure can feel it. Well, I threw it in reverse a couple times, and why do we get lucky? It went ahead and cleared itself off the prop or the prop shaft, and here we go, nice and smooth again. And here I am. I'm heading up with my buggy full of my gas cans, going up to the gas station, get some of that cheap gas. And guys, where we're at here on this Clarksville City dock, there's plenty of room for several boats. And up there where the walkway is, top of that's where the water spigot. All right, guys, so day 4, we are leaving Clarksville and still heading towards Nashville. See where we're gonna end up this evening. Guys, this marina is located just maybe 1/8 of a mile from the downtown area, from the city park dock there, and it's a really cool lodge or something here right on the inlet of that marina. So if somebody knows what that is, put it down in the comments. It does say Clarksville Marina at Liberty Park, it says. So that is a cool looking building right there. We'll probably stop here on the way back. All right, everybody, so this is gonna be day 4, and it's about 11 o'clock in the morning. Actually, no, 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock, we're cruising at about 6.2 miles per hour. It has been another kind of a gloomy day today. Let me zoom out here for you guys. And we got a little bit of mist going on. We had some pretty dense fog last night and this morning, but it's fairly nice. Temperatures finally dropped down. We're down in the low 60 today, and it's pretty nice. I did fill up the boat today. There's that gas station there at Clarksville, there by the city park. I made a total of 2 trips, and got everything topped off, the fuel tanks on the boat topped off, plus all the gas jugs, and I used a total of 37 gallons of gas yesterday on day 3, coming from Barkley Resort Marina all the way up to Clarksville, and our GPS showed 70 miles, so I divided that up, 1.89 miles per gallon for running both the engines, and we ran, it averaged between 7 to 7.5 miles per hour yesterday. We ran most of the day at 7.5, just because with that wind the day before kind of put us behind on schedule a little bit, so it kind of bumped it up. But anyhow, the water pump issue on my starboard engine, it was just a loose belt, so went ahead and tightened it up, and everything's good to go there. So now I've just been running on one engine all day today, and we're going to be cruising in, I think it's called Lakeview Marina. There's a little marina, a little dock that's got a restaurant, got laundry, got showers, I believe they do. So we're going to be stopping there for dinner tonight, and it's just 30 miles where we're going to be going, and we'll be staying there having a nice dinner, and then we'll be taking off to Nashville tomorrow. So stay tuned. We're going to be showing the little marina we're going to this afternoon. I think it's going to take about a little over 5 hours to get there, so we'll show you that whenever we get there. All right, so they've got a cruise liner in there now, and then got some pleasure craft going to be going downbound, and then it will be our turn. So we're going to have to sit here and hang out for a few minutes. On their website, it shows channel 14 after you talk to him on 16. He just requested me to go to 10, so hanging out on 10 until he gives me the go ahead. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but there is he's got let me get back around here. You'll see it there on the lock wall. See that little red flashing light? That means that the gates are closing. And when I come around the corner, that was a flashing green light. That means the gates were open and ready. I was hoping we was going to get here and we was going to be ready to go in, but we're going to have to hang tight for a little bit. So we're going to get out of the way of these lock walls here. Going to hang out in this area probably about right in here until we get the call and go through the lock. All right, guys, so I just got the green light, so we're going to cruise on in there. If you've never been through a lock before, it can be a little intimidating, but just take your time and just make sure you got your life jackets on. That is a requirement most of the time that you go into a locking system. And just make sure you're tied up good, and just watch the water and let it take you up or down, whichever the direction that you're going. And it's a pretty cool experience, especially when those gates open up. Then you've made it through.
Being the first mate is difficult sometimes.
It can be, can it, Veronica?
Especially when you pull up to one of these and there's a massive spider, like the size of my hand. I freaked out.
But it's all good now, right?
And then you have black crows flying everywhere. I told the captain if I saw a black crow coming to me, he is all on his own.
Wish me luck. There's Veronica's big spider. He's a big one. Tell you what, on the upper side of Cheatham Dam, it's some really nice picnic areas and place to hang out with the family. Actually got a beach right up here as well. And if you're up this way, probably ought to be a good place to come out here and check this out. There's a cool place for a volleyball court. Nice little anchors here on the point of this island.
We just made it to Ashland City, Tennessee, and we are docked at a marina that has a restaurant, and it's called the Riverview Restaurant. So we are looking forward to a hot meal.
Yes, we are. It's going to be great. Let's go. everybody, and today's gonna be our last leg of our little 180-mile one-way trip to Nashville, and it's gonna be a nice little dreary day again. Seems like it's been every day been a little dreary, but we got a little bit of a late start this morning. We was gonna leave at 5:30 a.m., but we overslept. Can you believe that? So anyhow, we got going right at 6 o'clock and left Ashland City. And guys, listen, we're not going to spend a lot of time in Nashville. We live about 2.5 hours from Nashville. We go to Nashville on a regular basis and sightsee and do the airports and Opryland hotels and all of that. But we've never made it there by water. So today's going to be that day. And we're going to make a little quick trip. We're going to cruise on up 32 miles. And we're going to make it to the downtown area there at Nashville. And then guess what? We're going to come back to Ashland City and have another nice hot meal there at that wonderful Riverview Marina that we ate at last night. It's some good food. And if you eat there, guess what? You get to stay there for free. So that's a pretty good little deal. And the food was so good, we're coming back. So hats off to you, Riverview Marina in Ashland City, Tennessee. So stick around, guys. Let's go. And what's weather going to be for us today? Guess what? We're going to have some mist and high of 70 today. And guess what? We're going to have some winds pushing us coming straight out of the south. So we got a little bit of a headwind, but it's let me zoom back here on this little detail here. Zoom back here. Actually going to be coming, out of the northeast for a little bit today. And then later on, it's going to shift. Let's see, from the east and then straight out of the south. So when we head back from Nashville, we're going to have the winds to our stern, help pushing us back here to Ashland City. And this right here is a barge manufacturing company. They are building a huge enclosed barge right here. Looks like for chemicals or such. Pretty neat.
With that, I think, but it's just one of those things.
I tell you what, every turn of the Cumberland from the Cheatham Dam up to Nashville is just unbelievable. They even got a little train track runs on the side of this bluff here. Last night we had about 3 barges that come through, but the weight was very minimal where we staying at, and they don't really go very fast like they do on the Ohio. Don't have to worry about their weight. Just move out of the way. They're good to go. Oh, that's a barge we passed there. On Lake Barkley. Alright everybody, so a lot of people ask what kind of cell phone signal that you have on these rural rivers. We've actually had some really good cell signal. We do have Verizon. My wife Veronica, she does work. She owns her own company and she works as we're cruising. Something that you might want to get is we got a MiFi, and that's through Verizon, and that has helped her out tremendously. She's been able to work just about the whole time that we've been out, except a couple little places where we've lost true signal, but it's been really
really good. So Veronica, tell us about the MiFi. How does it work?
So this is a MiFi and it's from Verizon. What it does is pick up signal and then it puts it into the MiFi, and it's kind of like a hotspot on your phone, but the signal is pretty awesome. There has been a few times it's been spotty, but it usually takes 2 minutes, you know, probably not even that, to pick up a good signal. So I've always had no less than 1 bar, but most of the time 2 or 3 bars.
Great. So in case you're wondering, if you're out and about and traveling and you're going to have to keep in touch with people, or if you own your own business and you're trying to keep doing your work or work for somebody else, it can be done using the MiFi. And we're not an associate, nor are we paid. We're just telling you guys what you can use to help you if you're out traveling, and even if you're camping or whatever. You might be on some rural areas that's probably going to help you out. Stay in touch with the world. So there you go.
Since I'm running my port engine only, went ahead and flipped on my switch from my battery isolator to go ahead and keep my house battery charged up. That way we can run our refrigerator and all the outlets as needed. So works out pretty good so far. Alright, so now we're down in the engine room, and here's going to be my port battery isolator. Basically it's just a big 500 amp starter solenoid is what it is. And I've got it wired so it feeds my house battery if my port engine's running, and if my starboard engine is running, here it is right here. And then like I showed you up on the console up there, you got 2 switches, one for the port, one for the starboard. Keep my house battery 100% while we are cruising, that way I don't have to use the generator. And I usually go down about once every hour, go ahead and check my shafts and make sure everything is going well, my shaft packing, make sure I got a nice little drip in, running nice and cool. I do run mine a little loose. I would rather run them a little bit cooler than get them too warm. And then here on my starboard engine, which isn't running right now, it's just in freewheel. And guys, this will not hurt these transmissions whatsoever. Alright everybody, it's going to be Highway 155, the Barkley Parkway, coming off of I-24. You can take this Barkley Parkway right over to the Opryland Grand Hotel. And there's a nice mall over there as well. And we go over there and hang out on a regular basis when we're down this way. So, cool place to go. If you have never been, you should go to the Gaylord Motel. And you can go in there and walk around for free. If you go park over by the mall, you can walk across and go in there and just visit and look around, and it's pretty awesome. But if you choose to go to their parking lot, it's going to cost you $20. So just let you know. All right everybody, so this is going to be a railroad swing bridge, and if you guys have ever seen these, pretty cool. Really probably last time I saw one of these is when I was in the U.S. Coast Guard down on the lower Mississippi. Louisiana on the Red and Black River had several of these, and sometimes we just have to wait for the railroad company to come out and swing the bridge. It's pretty neat. So that's where we're at. We're about mile marker 187-ish, right in there. But I'm going to have, before the end of this video, I'm going to go ahead and put out my miles per gallon and let you guys know what I kind of averaged. I've been keeping real accurate records on what I'm using, and maybe it'll help you guys out, try to figure out what it's going to cost you to do your trip. Probably most importantly, if you can't get some gas at a gas station located really close to water, you're going to save yourself a ton of money. Next stop, downtown Nashville. All right everybody, so we're getting closer to Nashville, and we've got about 10 more miles to go and we'll be downtown. All right, so this could be the first view of downtown Nashville on the Cumberland River, and man, we are almost there. I have noticed right here, downtown area, the current has picked up a little bit, so the dam that's on the
other side of Nashville. They might be letting some water out. I don't know if they are a hydroelectric dam or not, but if somebody knows, put it down in the comments. And of course, if you are a Tennessee Titan fan, there's their home stadium, located right down here in downtown Nashville. Guys, this is going to be the riverfront landing right here. If you've got a small boat, got some dockage there, and electric, and looks like water. Come on down. See the riverfront. All right, guys, on our way back from Nashville, we did stop at the Clarksville Marina. And let me tell you, these guys here, especially the manager, man, he's a super nice guy and very welcoming and just great people to come and do business with. And they do have the transient slips, and along with that, they do offer the Boat US. If you have that, you can get some discount there as well. But they got some nice showers, nice clean showers, I should say, along with very clean bathrooms. So, and they got fuel, diesel fuel, gasoline. And let me tell you, the Clarksville, this is a park. This whole area is a park. And man, they've got, I think it's like a 4-mile path that you can walk through the park. And it's just great. They've got pavilions, they've got a little exercise area. Up by the main pavilion up here, there's a wedding reception area up here as well on this point, which overlooks the main river. And what else? They got some really good restaurants. There's actually 3 restaurants. There's one located right here, another one right there. There is an O'Reilly's up here as well, a dollar store. What else? A couple other restaurants. And then they've also got a really nice called Liberty Park restaurant located right there. And it's basically almost all on the park ground. So it's just a good place to hang out. And when you stop back through, I want to check out the Clarksville Marina. We're up here on top of the lake at Lake Barkley. And they do have a really good anchorage right there. And you can't see it, but the restaurant's right there. We just dinghied over. And if you got the Navionics app, the anchorage shows up there at the Barkley State Resort area. You'll see it just off of where the restaurant is. And they do have showers just up the hill above the marina there, in case the marina is closed. All right, everybody, so let's go over some of the expenses that we've kind of incurred on this trip. So it's going to be a 360-mile round trip, and we're going to be staying at 2 marinas, and that's going to be about $100 for both of them. Now there at the downtown Clarksville, they have like a little city boat ramp there. There's a little dock there that you have to call ahead and register to stay there. But there's a gas station about 1.5 blocks from there. So that's where I refilled my boat and also got all the other gas cans filled up there as well. So what that did for me is within, I don't know, it probably took me 1.5 hours, something like that, to walk back and forth carrying some gas cans. And actually I had them in my little buggy and a little wagon, and it saved me $180 by doing that. That was well worth it. The Clarksville Liberty Park Marina, which is located about 1/4 mile upriver from the downtown Clarksville City Dock, gas was $5.30. So at the regular gas station there, it was $2.87. So there's a huge savings by that. And then also on top of that, before we left on the trip, I filled up my boat doing the same thing, and so was able to do the trip very inexpensively. And we've been out to dinner a couple different times there at Riverview Lakeside Marina restaurant. Had 2 great meals there, and was able to stay there at their dock for free as long as you come on up and get you a nice meal. And you can they just ask that you leave your name and contact information and your name of your boat, and you're good to go. Just that simple. Now let's talk about fuel usage. So I've been averaging, I've been trying to stay right on 6 miles an hour, minus that one day to where we was kind of running behind, had to make that really long run up to Barkley, or from Barkley up to Clarksville, but I think that's what it was, somewhere in that neighborhood. Anyhow, that one day I did run both the engines most of the day. Yeah, it was from Barkley to Clarksville. I averaged about 7 miles an hour on that trip, running both engines. And then after that, I switched back over to running one engine at a time. I use Navionics as my GPS tracker, and so that's what I use as for my distance. And then all of the gas in the cans, I monitored how much gas that I put in the cans, and then I would refill about every day when I was running single engines. That way I could look at my mileage and then add in the gas and then really get a really good accurate measurement on what my mileage was. So now Cumberland River, right now we're at Winter Pool, and it's maybe running 1 mile an hour going downstream. So there's not much current at all, and the wind has been pretty much the same every day. So there hasn't been, outside of that second day of our trip where I was hitting that 20-30 mile an hour wind gust, but all of the other days, which is going to be a total of an 8-day trip, single engine, averaging. And I say average because the days that we went upriver, like when we made that 34 mile run up to Nashville and then back to Riverside Marina, when I took an average against the current and then with the current, and what that came up to was 2.6 miles per gallon. So not too bad running a single engine at 6 miles an hour, especially since we've been pretty much completely loaded on this trip on weight wise. So 2.6 miles per gallon. Now when I'm running 6 miles an hour in twin engines, I'm running both of them, I was averaging 1.8, I think 3 miles per gallon. So when we first bought the boat, we got 1.67 miles per gallon running both engines, but they was running, I think we was up around 8 miles an hour, somewhere in that neighborhood. So now I did take an estimate on when I was going with the current, and I was getting actually 3.13 miles per gallon. So going with the current, it did bump up quite a bit, and I did have a slight wind to my back as well when we was going downstream. So, but I took the average together of the 34 up, 34 back, averaged it, and it came out to 2.6 miles per gallon. So water-wise, we've done extremely well on water. This boat has a 30-gallon freshwater tank, but I've got an additional 10 gallons of fresh water. We've never got into that at all. We did refill at the marina, and then also at where I got gas there at Clarksville, at the city dock downtown, there is a water spigot up there, so I went ahead and topped off for fresh water. But all in all, we've done extremely well on that. And the inverter system that I've got running the boat when we're underway works extremely well. We've been running the crock pot off of that, refrigerator, we're charging all of our accessories, lights if we need them on, water pump. The inverter system is working extremely well, and then that way when I switch engines, either port or starboard engine, whichever one I'm going to be running for the day, I can then turn on the battery isolator and then keep that house battery charged up the whole time we're running. So the only time that we need anything is if we're anchored, and we'll fire up the generator and we'll run that if we want to keep our refrigerator cooling all night long, with, say, if we've got some computers or whatever to charge up as well. That works out really well. So engines, let's talk of that. There was I have my starboard engine, the water pump belt was a little loose, so I did tighten that up, and it took care of a little issue that I was having there. And the engines have not used any oil whatsoever. They're running like a top. And before we went on this trip, I've got an upcoming video too of how to ensure that your engines are running at its max performance on the timing. And I'm going to be showing that video separately here on the channel here pretty soon. Now, the port engine, I did rebuild the carburetor on that before we left. I just wanted, it hasn't really run as smooth as the starboard engine, so I went ahead and put a carburetor kit in that. And I didn't make a video on that, but it's pretty much a no-brainer. It's pretty simple. So that did help that engine run a lot better, and it was just on the fume side, you could smell it's just running a little rich, but all in all, that has fixed that. And I'm trying to think what else. Hey, the gas stove, the propane gas stove that we put in the boat, there was one morning, it was pretty chilly, and we fired that up, and man, we ran that maybe 5 minutes, and it was toasty warm in here. So that's a nice little additional heater if you need it, especially if we're going to be cruising late fall or early spring. And the Blackstone grill, actually we're going to be cooking on that this evening. I'm going to be throwing some hamburgers on that, and probably some potatoes and onions and sauteing them. So all in all, it has worked out great. The Predator generator, man guys, I am extremely happy that I sold the Westerbeek generator that was on my boat and got that Predator, just because you can run that thing all night long. And I'm telling you, it is amazing on the amount of fuel that it doesn't burn. It's very, very efficient. And so let's talk about oil. The Predator generator, I do run I think it's 1030. It is a advanced full synthetic that I'm running in that, and also both my Chrysler 318s. I'm running a 1030 full synthetic with some Hot Shot Secret friction eliminator. I've got that on another video on my channel as well. But all in all, it has done very well. The shaft vibration, I did check the shafts. That's going to be a video too on my channel down in the playlist under boats and repairs and boat trips. I did align the propeller shafts coming off the engine. Had to adjust the port and starboard engine just slightly to get them trued up. And my port engine just has a slight little, it's either the shaft has got a slight bend or the shaft coupler has got a slight bend, but I mean, it's very, very minor, but that made a huge difference. Absolutely, basically no vibration whatsoever on either engine, and it was just basically just a slight adjustment. And just remember, the motor mounts are made out of rubber. Over time, things are going to settle out, and you're just going to have to do a slight alignment to make sure everything is good. So all in all, it's been a great trip, and I just wanted to bring you along and kind of give you the amount of money that we've spent, and on gas and a couple stays and some restaurants. Outside of that, it's been a beautiful view, great bluffs, fall colors, and the boating traffic is pretty much at a minimum. Thought about making a trip up to Nashville. You're gonna really, really love the view from Cheatham Dam going towards Nashville. It is beautiful up that way. And on the lower side, from Cheatham Dam down to Lake Barkley, it's very pretty as well. So it wasn't a mistake for us. It's been a great little trip. Hey everybody, thanks again for coming along this great trip. And I tell you what, it's been a bucket list for us, and I hope you enjoyed the trip. And you should check out the Jeep Man King channel and look down in the playlist, because we've got a lot more boating repairs and boat trips down there. So guys, God bless you guys, and we'll see you next time on the Jeep Man King channel.
Welcome to Nashville.
See ya. Bye.